Howdy, girl.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's nice and sunny here, so that's always good in October.
It's pretty here too. Why does it rain
And
a lot in October?
usually Octobers here are very grayish, wet, and it just makes everybody depressed. But when they get
Oh.
nice and sunny weather for a week now, people get all cheery.
Oh, awesome. In Norway, where we go to this little place that my husband's from, Hul, the tiny little sheep, uh, herding place, village. And if it gets to be 80, all the farmers take their shirts off. They're riding their tractors with their pudgy white bodies showing. It's just gross.
Yeah, they probably don't get much tanning up there, huh?
No, they sure don't. Well, how's my boy?
He's doing great. He's getting dancing lessons right now, actually.
Oh, well, he needs them. Oh, he's the word. Oh, he's just like his mama. Oh, boy. Hi,
I
Erik.
have
How are
and
you?
he has two left feet.
Yes, he does.
He's
Who's?
saying hi, Mama. I
I
love you.
love you too. Who's teaching you?
Bruce Lee.
Oh, how about that? Okay, well, that's awesome. Well, that's good. So you already brought him forward, Erik. That's good.
Yeah, he says he was already here before you showed up.
Oh, okay.
He's teaching him the cha. I see a lot of stepping on feet than actually cha-chaing.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Lee, for coming forward.
He's saying hello. Thank you for having me.
I was reading. I didn't really know very much about you. Sorry. But I did read a little bit, and you have a very complicated history. So I will ask a little bit about your life, but also I'll ask you a lot of questions about spiritual aspects of your life. Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right, well, let's start out with something obvious. Tell us about your childhood. Tell me about your mother. Now, tell me about your childhood.
He says I loved my mama.
Oh,
I had great parents, he says. I had amazing parents. I had an amazing family. Um, there were some rough times, he says. As a little boy, I went through war when China was taken over from the Japanese. I hope that's right.
it
Um,
probably is.
he's saying we had a rough 4 years, but my dad was very strong and my mother was very stubborn, so we got through it okay. But I can't complain. He says I had a pretty good childhood. I had a lot of fun growing up. Followed in my dad's footsteps. My dad was an actor, he says, and I started acting when I was really young, when I was about 6 or 7.
Wow,
He says I got my first part. So
that's
yeah, it was
amazing.
fun. I had a blast.
Well,
He says as I got older, however, I got into a lot of trouble.
yeah, you
He's
didn't do
going,
very well in school.
yeah, I got into a lot of trouble. I got into a lot of fights. I was very opinionated and I was very strong-minded, and I didn't like people telling me that I was beneath them and that, uh, tearing my family down. So I got on my high horse really fast, he
Was that
says.
because you were not pure Chinese, that your mother was Caucasian or part Caucasian, I think?
He's saying no, it had to do with the fact that he says after the war, there was a lot of what do you call that? Triads. It's
Oh,
like
triads. Yeah. Okay.
it's making me feel like they're like gang related.
Okay. Yeah. That I did see something about triads. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess there was a lot of criminal activity going on the street, more than there was when he was little. That just kind of came with the refugees of China running, stuff like that. So a lot of, when he was a teenager, he says a lot of the kids that I went to school with were sons of those gang members, and they wanted to prove themselves and say, oh, you can't dance here, or you can't be here, or you can't hang out with that girl, because I was a little bit of a ladies magnet, he said. He says, I like the girls. So and with my dancing, I was very smooth and persuading him to come with me, he says. So they didn't like that, of course. So they were always kind of like bugging in, and they were always trying to get me to leave and leave the girls alone and stuff like that. And so, I didn't like that. So I would just fight back.
Is that how you learned to fight? Uh-oh. Frozen. Uh-oh.
Yay, we're back.
All right. Sorry about the technical difficulties, people. Good. All right. Well, let's get back to our questions with Mr. Bruce Lee. Now, your career, it seemed like it took off after this Long Island Championship. That was apparently a big deal.
Can you say that again? Because I didn't hear it quite. It
Sure.
was kind of neat.
Your career seemed to really take off after the Long Island Championship. I might be wrong, but can you tell me about that?
He says, well, it was a stepping stone for me to find confidence in my...
Okay.
In my later life, everybody saw me as Mr. Confident and Mr. Cocky, and look at me go. But I was very insecure as a younger child. I was as a teenager. And that competition, it made me feel better about myself. It made me feel like I could accomplish something. But it was just a stepping stone for me.
All right, here's another one. Since you were part Caucasian, the Chinese community issued an ultimatum for you to stop training non-Chinese. So you had this match with Wong Jack Man, such that if you won, you could teach non-Chinese, and if you lost, you'd have to shut down your school. How did that whole thing play out?
He's saying it's not because I was Caucasian or half Caucasian.
Oh, that you were teaching. You were teaching.
Yeah, because they didn't like it when I was teaching their secrets to Caucasians, he says. Mm-hmm. That's what they didn't like. And I got into, it came up to a duel. Basically, if I won, I get to continue teach people, and if I lose, I have to stop right away. Now I did win that battle, so I refused to have somebody tell me what I could do and couldn't do. I was too stubborn for that.
Good.
So, and I never accepted that of anybody in my life. So this was my life, and this was what I wanted to do. So whoever didn't like it, just got rid of him. Yeah.
All right. So, what was your favorite movie of the ones you acted in? All of them?
He says, well, they were all different, but he's talking about I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know any of his movies. I know my husband likes certain movies, but I'm not a big fighting movie
Yeah. Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
He's talking about the dragon one. I don't know what it's called.
A what?
It's something with a dragon.
Oh, a dragon? One with a dragon? That was your favorite? Okay,
He's
I'll have to
saying that.
look into that.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. But he's showing me a dragon, so I'm assuming it
Okay.
has to do with dragon.
Fists
He's
and
saying that
dragons.
that was the one where he could put his he could put his print, his personal print on the story,
Okay.
and he could incorporate what he believed in his how he saw the world. He could incorporate it into the movie.
Okay.
While the other ones were more like, well, here's the script, and there was not a lot of room for him to really change things in there that he wanted to change. So,
All right. Well, that's interesting. Well, let's talk about that. You were also considered a philosopher and poet. What was your main philosophy? Words to Live by Bruce Lee.
he said I had my own life vision and I had my own religion.
That's true.
He says it was very important to me to be the best that I could be in any aspect of my life. I wanted to be the best husband, the best brother, the best son, the best father, the best actor. I wanted to be the best in everything that I did. So for me, self-discipline was one of my biggest lessons I had to learn. Because if I wanted to be the best, I had to be very disciplined in my life, in my diet. I had to be very disciplined in the way that I saw the world. So for me, self-discipline was what I was here to learn
And teach?
and teach at the same time. I mean, it's all about, he says, it's all about creating your own art, you know. You're the painter and you got to make your life into that masterpiece that you want. So what you need to do is, you know, I learned that if I follow my passion, no matter what it is, you'll do great at it because you do it with passion. You do it with love and intensity. So if you do something in this life, do something you want to do something that you do with your whole heart, no matter what other people tell you, no matter what they say, oh, you can't do it, you're not allowed to do it. If you want to do it, then you go ahead and do it, because
Okay,
this
well,
is
I'll share a personal story. I have this passion to start kickboxing. Kickboxing granny. So yeah, I really like it. But yesterday I was like, dude, we started the warm up and we always like just jog around the mat. 10 steps in, my knee pops. I mean, I wasn't even kickboxing per se, and it hurt so bad and it's so swollen. Dr. Lee, what is wrong with my knee? What in the world did I do? And is this the universe saying you're too old to kickbox, girl? You are too old.
he's saying you're never too old to kickbox. He's just saying that you put your foot in a weird position and it
Yeah.
just popped. So it's about learning not to give up.
Oh God.
So you have to get back on that horse. He says.
I know. Did I injure
It is
anything?
better, of course.
What did I do inside my knee? What's going on? Why did I feel that pop?
He's showing me like uh, I don't know what it's called in English. You know how you have your knee, you got like that, and then you have like a little plate.
Oh yeah, the patella. Yeah, the kneecap.
Yeah, kneecap.
Okay, right.
Uh, there's something that's jammed in there, in between.
Oh yeah, because when I bend my knee and have my hand on my knee, I feel my kneecap popping. So there's
Yeah,
something there.
so it feels like there's a jam or a.
Do I have to go to the doctor or can I just wait? The ortho dude? He'll probably
He
just
says
say,
it's going to
damn
go away
that.
with
Oh, good. Damn that knee's old girl. We need to replace
ice,
it.
he says. Ice and rest.
Ice and rest. Okay. That sounds
Yes, it
boring.
should be okay.
All right, Dr. Lee. Thank you so much. Just mail me the bill at your leisure. Now, let's talk about your death because I know there's a lot of controversy around it. Why did you have cerebral edema? You had this cerebral edema. They gave you mannitol to get rid of the fluid. You did okay for a while. And then all of a sudden you got a headache and somebody gave you something called Equagesic for the pain, and you never woke up from that. So they don't know if you had cerebral edema, if it was just the cerebral edema again, which you did have on autopsy, or whether you also had some sort of allergic reaction to that medication.
He says, well, it was a combination of both, but it was an allergic reaction that made the, whatever you just said, cerebral edema, that made that worse. So it just increased it, but it was just my time to go. So it was not intentional. There's no conspiracy behind it, people.
Well, some say that you died from a curse on your family, and that you were murdered by the triads.
No. He says, no, it was just my time to go
Well, why did you have
accomplish what I was here to learn.
Oh, why cerebral edema? Was that from trauma to the head or something?
He says it was, his body was, he says he was on a very strict diet. And then a combination of that and the blows that he got and fatigue. He says he was in a time where he was very tired. He was doing a lot of things. Wasn't seeing much of his family. He says, I was constantly working to, get everything out there, doing movies, several movies at the same time, and writing movies. And it was just a combination of stress and my extreme diet and then blows to the head. And it was just a little bit of everything that led to it. But it was supposed to go that way. Well, the fact that it turned into this big conspiracy theory actually added more publicity to who I was and my spiritual beliefs, and it helped. It was supposed to go that way because he says, if I would have lived longer, I wouldn't have had such an impact on the world today. Because I have millions and millions of people who understand my spirituality, who understand how I saw life, and that is helping them into the spiritual growth that they need. So it was all part of a big plan, he says. He says it's, of course, I felt bad about my children, and my little girl was so small when I left, and she never really got to spend the time with Dad like Brandon did, he says. But Brandon's with me every day now, so we hang out every day. But he does visit them a lot, his wife and his daughter. So they're around all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
he says
we'll go into
he's a
some.
sweetie.
We'll go into some spiritual questions now. Now that we got your background, what was your spiritual mission in your life as Bruce Lee?
Well, I was here to teach people to always stay true to yourself. Be yourself, what anybody tells you, and to never give up. You if you want something, you do everything you can to accomplish that. So it's about discipline. It's about really having that focus on what I want in life, and don't focus on how you're going to get there, but focus on the end result. What do I want?
Okay.
He's talking about find that. Let me see if I can say it correctly. Find that inner light and let it shine upon the world, he says. If you can do that, then you have created your masterpiece.
Nice. I like the way you tie it into art. Life is a canvas, we have to just paint a beautiful masterpiece
Yeah.
on it or
Just
sculpt
make it.
sculpt it.
Says there's no reason in doing things in your life that you don't like. There's no purpose to it. So why would you even bother spending your time doing something you don't like? He
Well, so,
says you're here for you, so do what you want to do. That was my philosophy. I wanted to be the best I could be in this, and I wanted to be the best I could be in that, and that's what I did. I wouldn't accept no, and I wouldn't let other people tell me what I can and can't do. So do the same for yourself. If you want to be successful in what you want in this life, then go for it. Don't let other people tell you what to do.
all right.
And don't let yourself tell you you can't do it, because then you have a bigger issue.
Well, usually when it's us telling
Self.
ourselves, it usually has come from some place else, like a parent or a teacher, authority figure, or a peer. They ingrain us into thinking, no, you can't do it.
Exactly. So it's about that. That was my thing. Create your own art. Be you. Be very true to yourself and express yourself in such a way that it's completely and utterly 100% you.
Awesome. Do you think you accomplished that goal?
Oh, yes.
I think you did too. Which do your movies convey that, your philosophy?
Well, there's a little bit of my philosophy in every movie, but the most one is the dragon one. Is it the
Okay.
Last Dragon or something?
I
I
don't
hear the
know.
Last Dragon. I might be
Okay.
wrong. Don't shoot messenger.
Oh, don't shoot the messenger. It's hard to get names. It really is.
It is.
Now, did you have any insights once you actually crossed over?
He says, "Well, I didn't know that it was my time to go." But he said, he already left his body while his body was still alive.
Oh,
So I'm assuming when he's in the hospital or something.
uh-oh. Telephone.
He's saying, "Well, no, it was everything went really smoothly. I was greeted by family. My grandma was there, which I loved to bits." He says, "She was there, and I had family members because I had a big family." He says,
Mm,
um, "So it was just like coming home. So my ideas didn't change. I mean, I already knew um, how the universe works. I was very good in controlling." Um,
okay.
I was so powerful, he says. It wasn't about technique. It was about controlling your energy. I could knock somebody over with one finger. And it
Wow.
was just about, I would imagine energy floating through me and then through my hands. And that's how I pushed them away. So I was actually in control of my energy
Oh,
completely. And
interesting.
I used that in my martial arts. I
Yeah.
used that. So I had a really good idea on how the universe worked, how it was all energy, and you had to learn to control it and to, well, not
Interesting.
control it, he says, but to have a relationship with the
Oh,
energy.
okay.
It's more like a mutual relationship, he says. It's like a
Interesting.
mutual respect.
D-
A lot of people think I was controlling it, but it was more of just a relationship.
Okay. Well, did you have any regrets when you looked back at your life?
He says, yes, I should have spent more time with my family
Okay.
the last year.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
had known.
can you share another life that you think most influenced your one as Bruce Lee?
That's weird. He's showing me a dog.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about that life as a dog.
Oh, okay. It feels like this was like England or something. It feels very hop, 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 very puff.
Uh-huh.
It looks like, sorry to the English people, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
But English are a little bit more stiffer.
Uh-oh.
Well,
That's
I'm
true.
in trouble now.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry,
not.
everybody. Okay, well, it looks like he was a female dog, and he was like a performing dog, like shows. I can see him parading
Oh.
around with a person, with a man. And I guess he won a lot of prizes. He was a big award-winning dog, but the owner didn't. Well, he was always locked up. I guess he had like kennels where he always locked the dogs up. So
Oh.
they had to perform a lot. They were trained with whips. So if they didn't perform, they would get whipped. And it looks like the older the owner got, um, it looks like he started having Alzheimer's or something like that. Like he started to forget things, and he would forget to feed him
Oh,
and things
God.
like that. And so he was always locked up, and the only time he got out was to train or to do his little performance. And then after he was done performing, I guess he got a little bit too old or whatever, he was replaced. Then they would use him for breeding because he was like a prize-winning award, so they got more money, I guess, if they bred with her. And so then she became this breeding farm until she finally, I guess her last litter, she started bleeding and too many puppies, and so she was finally put down. He shot her in the head with a gun.
Oh.
So he says, my whole life there, from a puppy to the end, I didn't have any say in what I wanted. I didn't have any say. I didn't get any love. I didn't control anything, not even my death. He just couldn't even let me die on my own. He even took that away from me. He decided I had to die now. And that I really wanted to experience a life where I was loved, where I could do what I wanted to do, where I had control over my body and my mind. But especially love. I came into a wonderful family. I had two brothers, two sisters. Had a wonderful mom and dad.
Oh, that's good.
And then I met my wife, and I had kids, and people loved me, and yeah, it was
Full of love. That's good.
I was full of love and love for myself and where I was, and I admired myself. People thought that was cocky, but it was just about self-love. So
Yeah, what's wrong with self-love?
exactly, he
You want
says.
to become the person that you admire. Of course. That's awesome. Well, do you have any messages for the world, for us? Any advice?
Stay true to yourself. It's the only truth and the only reality there is.
Yeah.
Everything else doesn't matter.
Do you want to share anything new about yourself that we don't know about, that we haven't covered?
He said, no, not really. I'm a
Okay.
good dancer too. I'm
I didn't. What now?
good at a lot of things.
You're a good dancer. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that
He says,
about you.
he says, he says one of my favorite memories that I had as a child or as a young man. Okay, so he says there was this girl that I really liked, and there was this other girl who liked me, but I didn't like her in that way. So, and I wanted to enter a competition of dancing, and he says I couldn't choose, right? Because if I chose one, this one would be mad. If I chose the other one, this one would. They were all both looking at me like, "Who are you gonna pick? Who are you gonna pick?"
Uh-oh.
And so I taught my little kid brother how to do the routine, and we did it just him and me.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
We won too.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I love that story.
One of the best memories I have.
That is so funny.
it was just funny to see because everybody else was dancing boy, girl, boy, girl.
Yeah.
We were like me, this really tall, skinny dude, and my brother was like half my size. And we were
Oh.
dancing. And he says it was so amazing. And I love my brother so much.
Well,
And
keep teaching Erik.
that.
Keep teaching Erik those smooth moves.
He's saying, I'm trying, but man,
I know.
Erik is going, what? I'm a smooth dancer. I walk back and forth, don't I?
Yeah, there we go. You can't be good at everything, Erik. Or maybe Bruce Lee would say you can be. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-oh.
I was a great dancer.
Well, maybe you are. I don't know. Maybe you are now. All right, now, one more question. Can you tell us some information that will enable humans to evolve to their greatest potential as a whole and individually? It's really the same thing. It might be what you've already said. Be true to yourself. I don't know. But is there any other information?
He says, well, first of all, like I said, be true to yourself and allow others to be true to themselves.
Oh,
I'm trying
yeah.
to people, let everybody be who they want to and accept that.
There's so much
That's
easier if we allow people to...
acceptance of different, what? I don't know that word.
Differences?
Yeah, differences
Yeah.
in other people.
Yeah. Allow people to be who they are, and that's just, there's no drama.
Yeah.
No
He says
drama,
if everybody
mama.
has love and compassion for one another, and even if you don't like what they're doing, but if that's what they really want to do, let them do that. And send them the love to fulfill that dream. Then we wouldn't have so many struggles and trying to overrun each other, trying to prove each other, trying to...
I know. All right. Erik, is there anything...
Be true to yourself and let other people be true to themselves.
There we go. Erik, is there anything you'd like to ask Mr. Lee?
He's saying, well, let's just skip the dancing and just teach me how to do the, what is it, Jeet Kune Do or something like that?
Taekwondo, or I don't know what.
Jeet Kune Do? I don't know. Something like that.
All right, will you, Bruce, will you help me with my kickboxing? It's pretty bad.
He's saying, totally. But you need to put ice on that.
I will. If I can sit still
You'll be
long
fine.
enough.
It's all about finding that self-discipline to keep going.
Oh, I'm not going to stop. I just can't do it right now. But, Emma, do you want to ask anything of Bruce?
Well, me and Bruce talk every now and then, so he's actually one of my guides. So
oh, wow. How about that? What a great guide to have.
He is so good.
Oh, now
he wasn't originally my guide, but he came, my husband and I were doing the e-board, and we were like, well, who should we come and ask to come in? And I think it was like a year ago or something. And he came in because my husband likes his movies. I just can't watch them. It's just, I don't know. But he came in and my husband was asking questions because I didn't know much about him, but he was such an interesting person. And I was like, wow, I could learn a lot from this person. So I just asked him very kindly, hey, do you want to be one of my guides?
And now he's going to be my kickboxing guide. All right, we're going to keep him busy.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah. And there you go. And he just pops in every now and then. So we get a cool conversation. Him and his son. His son's really nice too. So.
That's awesome. All right.
He's a funny, short, little, skinny guy. And he cracks me up sometimes.
Are you talking about Bruce or his son?
Bruce.
Oh, yeah,
Bruce.
right.
His son is taller than he is,
actually.
But he's just funny. He really... I don't know. Every time my husband, he used to talk about him, and I was like, wow, he's always so serious, but he's just really funny.
Oh, okay, good. Well, thank you, Mr. Lee. We really appreciate this. If there's anything else you'd like to say before we close, then here's your opportunity.
He's saying just stay true to yourself. That's all I can tell you.
All right. Well, thank you.
I love him.
All right, we'll do. And thank you, Erik. I love you.
I love you too. I love everybody. Mwah. He's giving everybody a big kiss.
Thanks, Emma. And
bye, sweetie.
Go out and enjoy that sunshine, girl.
I know. I'm going to go get a tan.
All right, good. Bye.
Bye.